Were you, or were you not, on a gay cruise?
No, you're 120% dick pic.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else. We're a walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room and you return the favor.
Gonorrhea. No. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop it now. I order you to stop. I'm still touching myself.
Yeah.
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. It's not. Look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you gotta fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay.
I got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar, and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, savages? Welcome to another episode of Grunt Speed that actually is live from the lair. All right, now we've been talking a lot about the weaponization of various departments within our very own government. And you've probably, if you look back, going back to roughly 2008, 2010-ish, you remember how the world used to be before then and how it is now. And we've seen nothing but epic division along political lines, racial lines, sexual lines. We've have incredibly entitled youth who, quite frankly, can't manage to solve their way out of a wet paper bag. And prior to 2008-ish, you've always heard the term, what is it? Basically, in South America, a lot of those small countries have switched leadership every 5 to 10 years like clockwork. And the reason that is happening is the very intel agencies that are now doing it to us today practice their techniques in South America and in the Middle East and various other countries around the world. You ever wonder why you turn on the TV and every time you see a married couple, it's interracial? That didn't used to be. Or we have people who don't know the difference between men and women, despite the fact there's 8 billion people on the planet. So we've had 8 billion examples of what a woman is. But somehow we are fighting hand over fist, trying to convince the world that a man feels like a woman, that he's a woman. Where do you think that's coming from? Well, we're going to get into that tonight. And another thing, you're seeing Section 8 and welfare start to get trimmed back. Where do you think that acceptance of laying around doing nothing came from? As a betting man, I would bet that that message has been given to the youth of this country starting, I would say, in the mid 80s, and then it became a way of life. And now these people who are on Section 8, WIC welfare, what have you, are going to have a meltdown because they have to work for their benefits instead of it being free and handed to them. This is going to be a good show. So please turn up the volume, hit the like on Rumble and YouTube, and share this content out as far and as wide as you possibly can. There are very few channels out there who cover a lot of this stuff the way we do, if at all. All right, we got Battle Dwarf in the house. Boom. You there?
Let's start it off with Bolshevik.
All right, drink.
Because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it.
I got these screw-on metal beer bottles.
That's
Pretty
what she
cool.
said.
Yeah. Yeah, she got screwed on and I got screwed off.
There you go. You got screwed over too.
And screwed over. Yep.
Mm-hmm. There you have it. So I'm going to start the night off with a surprise butt segs. No, wait, just a surprise announcement that I want to do on the air so that I can corner you into it, you rotten son of a bitch, because we've been trying to do this for a while now. Look at Pop's face. What's going on? He really doesn't know.
Ambush! Get off the X. Get off the X.
Get off the X. Push left. So I've been talking to that guy up in Grayling a lot, the vet who's getting mauled by a judge. He found a lawyer that's going to help him out. He's going to start filing a federal case under Title 42, violation of rights. They found some case precedent and that sort of thing. The one thing they don't have is coverage. So next week, at a minimum, the show is going to be about that, and we're going to actually try to get him on, because this whole thing that we do, that you and I do, it started with exactly this. It started with us coming together and going, we got so fucked over, here's all the stuff. And we started initially doing radio shows on the subject.
Yeah.
And we kind of haven't ever gotten back to that. So next week, you're going to get a taste of old school Redonkulas 2009 style. And we're going to do some talking with this guy and go through all the stuff that's being done to him, go through some of the stuff that was done to us, go through what these judges are doing and where they think they're coming from. Bill Clinton's freaking unassing of the family courts from the judicial system in 1994. The VAWA Act, which basically made men illegal.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I was talking to him today and it dawned on me. I'm like, man, we haven't done anything at all on our core topic in a hot minute.
Well, actually, Blake and I have covered stuff like this, but we probably didn't cover it like we did back in 2009.
No. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You and Blake have been covering it, but you've been doing it on the humorous side of the show.
Yep.
But I think it's time for a serious talk because I think a lot of guys need to hear it because we know for a fact that there are more than just us out there. Like as in you, me, and this guy.
Well, we're talking half of the men out there who have been divorced have been through this.
Huh?
Yeah. And I was not aware that the divorce courts were actually totally separate from the standard courts.
Clinton, 1994. We went over that law. We went through the whole thing on one of our shows one night.
Okay.
And then we probably sat in your living room with the Ranger TV on.
Yeah.
And some whiskey. So we may have erased that segment. in our
thinking the old recordings of those radio shows we did.
I wish, man. I wish I knew what happened to them.
Because we did like 22, 23 of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there were a couple of them. Are they just gone?
I've lost let's see, 2 hard drives and 3 computers since 2009. I mean, I'm talking just done. They're probably on there. I don't know. They're gone.
Yeah, I've lost some stuff too. I had a hard drive that had pretty much everything on it go tits up on me. And it was supposed to be a really good one too. But anyway, so that's what's coming next week. I just wanted to get that out there publicly in the air so that we can't waffle on it. And now we're committed to it.
Well, if the guest doesn't show up, we need a backup plan, just like anything else.
No, we will have a backup plan. We will have a backup plan, but it definitely is something that needs to get covered. I'm communicating with him on what all the details are, what the case law is, and what he plans to do as far as the lawsuit goes against this judge. He's going to sue him in federal court rather than trying to even bother taking it to the state court because this judge is taking his disability checks.
Yes. And I believe I sent you a couple links about the guy who actually won I believe it was the Michigan Supreme Court that they cannot go after your disability checks.
What this judge is doing is waiting until he has his disability and then levying his bank account.
Correct.
He thinks he's being sneaky when it's obvious that what he's doing is taking the money ex post facto.
I wonder if he can get a bank account in another state and have the money sent there. And that way
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. But that judge, the judge currently is claiming that the guy is thousands overdue, has suspended his license, is going to destroy his credit. And because this helps, it helps men pay child support this way by destroying their lives and burning it to the ground.
Well, once child support hits your credit report, your credit is ruined.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
All right, let's get on with this.
Okay, let's get on with this. Anyway, that's next week's show. This is this week's show. Look at these. Isn't that pretty?
That a little bit.
I would like to large that. I don't know if I can large that though, because it's a PDF.
Right. So let's.
I can read it to you. Just hang on. This is national news media's average min-max scaled frequencies of the words racism, racist, sexism, sexist, homophobia, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobia, Islamophobic, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic. Now, the boxes there are United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, France, Italy, Sweden, Spain, Russia, Qatar, United Emirates, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Israel, South Africa, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Kenya, and the list goes on and on down the line. But if you look at these graphs, right around the time that Oblama put the Smith-Mundt Act on hold, which prevented our government from using propaganda against us, that was right around 2010.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you're being hammered with propaganda. This is what the media did to the public. All of these terms, nobody was talking about that. Nobody talks about that stuff. Nobody cares. But the media beat it to death. Absolutely beat it to death.
Yep.
I was having a conversation with my daughter yesterday, and I was talking about our husky who got loose and was running at retard speed, and she malfunctioned, and her drone programming from college kicked in, and she started to lecture me on the use of the word retard. And I promptly kicked into dad mode, told her to stuff it. And but literally you could see her face blue screen of death. Like Windows crashing, because I used the word retard. All of her college programming kicked in. Father, you cannot say the word retard. It is inappropriate and not nice to differently abled people. I'm like, stuff it.
Yeah.
The dog is retarded, okay? Deal with it.
I use the retarded word all the time.
It's a word. It's a word, and it means what it means. I'm not going to sit there and talk about differently abled. Kiss my ass. But this is why. It all began happening right around 2010 when the Smith-Mundt was turned off, and all of a sudden the United States government could propaganda your ass to death.
And that's what's happening.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happening. Now let's get to the...
Well, hang on. You can see all this in the commercials they're showing to us.
Yeah. Oh, you can absolutely see all of it in the commercials that they're showing to us. But let's make it really fun. Let me get the video right here. Can I make this close? Can I make it bigger? I'd like to see the video.
Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities.
The El Paso, Los
Hang on. All right, so if you want to make it bigger.
Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality of balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
Stop it from playing. All right, so
I can hear you. Pay attention to me. I was trying to make it bigger, and it was not allowing me to.
Okay. I usually just take it out of the article right to YouTube, and then I make it bigger there.
Okay.
Well,
Do me a favor. Gently touch my nuts and allow me to carry on here.
Okay.
Watch this, though. Watch how many news they're repeating a script.
One-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own.
You get the idea. You get the idea.
That
this is your news media.
Terrifying.
That's 2018.
I know, but we've been saying this for a while. All of our mainstream media is owned by 6 corporations for a fucking reason. And now you're seeing it right here in real time.
And they get their news from 2 sources, Reuters and API, which are AP, which are also owned by individuals.
Correct. But literally, I mean, the chances of that happening independently, where everyone's saying the same script, is almost zero.
It's zero. It is zero.
Well, nothing's ever zero. it's very.
I got something for you to zero right here.
I'm just saying.
This kind of coordination is
planned,
deliberate activity. This is psychological warfare 101. This is saturation.
Correct.
This is like the first part of the PSYOP course.
Well, if you worked in civil affairs, same as me.
Yeah.
Civil affairs works hand in hand with PSYOPs. I have been in the room when they were planning shit like this to use on other nations.
Yes.
And a lot of these officers get out of civil affairs, they retire, whatever, or they get out of public affairs or PSYOPs, and they go work for companies that are probably planning and coordinating all of this shit.
If I wasn't concerned about how fat my ass looks in prison orange and the taste of prison loaf, I could plot, organize, and orchestrate crimes on a level that would make Al Capone fucking shit himself.
I could probably do the same thing.
But the two of us, if we decided to become criminal geniuses, it wouldn't be that hard for us to do a whole lot of shit. The problem is we have these things called morals and a sense of decency, and it's very encumbering.
Integrity.
Otherwise, we'd be millionaires or something. I don't know.
We're not doing this for the money.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I am unable to do the crimes. It just doesn't work. I get all upset even thinking about it sometimes.
I'm not even
I'll look at a situation. Something like this, where you could propagandize something. I'm like, I could do that. And I think about it for a minute. I'm like, I can't do that.
There's been dozens of times since roughly 2010.
Yeah.
Where I'd literally call Steve on the phone and be like, hey man, check this out. He would do the same thing to me. We watch it at the same time and literally like, oh yeah. And like go down the list of shit that was going on.
When we were at Huachuca doing the LLVI course up in the mountains, we were sitting around like in between cycles, sitting outside, and we knew there were meth labs all over outside of Huachuca. And we knew that the money was out there too. And we're like, we could hit one of those easy. Take 2-3 LLVI teams down there, they wouldn't stand a chance against us.
Yep.
And that's it. That's as far as the plan would go. And then we would drink and forget about it.
I get it.
But yeah, I mean, the reason that I'm mentioning this stuff is the government doesn't have the same morals that we do.
They don't have any.
Obviously, they don't have any morals at all. This stuff that I'm joking about, these crimes that I could laugh about, but I'm unable to do because I have a certain moral code because of the way that I grew up and the army that I was raised in. These people don't have any of that moral code at all. They will absolutely screw you over and will kill you and your family if they feel that it's necessary.
Okay, prime example, BLM. They burned down cities.
Yeah.
And the mainstream
Big
media
chunks of cities,
said it was mostly peaceful protests, even when they're standing in front of raging fires in the back.
None of them were arrested either.
Correct.
None of them were arrested. There was a case in England the other day. No, I'm sorry. It's Rochester, Minnesota, where an 18-year-old raped a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old repeatedly. He got 180 days in prison.
Yep.
This is the kind of evil you're dealing with.
The R word, okay?
I'm quoting a headline. Are they going to get mad about that anyway?
I'm just telling you what YouTube does, man. We got to stay monetized if we can.
That's so irritating. It's literally the words that were in the headline.
I get it.
Anyway, that's the kind of evil we're dealing with. They'll give somebody who clearly should probably be taken out and dealt with on a different manner.
A permanent solution?
A little slightly more permanent subterranean solution. And give them 180 days in prison. But that's a special kind of freaking evil right there. We're talking about a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of the worst crimes you can possibly commit to begin with. It's definitely in my top 3. And this guy's getting 180 days.
Wow.
for children.
And that was what, Minnesota?
Minnesota, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they get a little bit of a problem out there.
Yeah.
That's part and parcel of the propaganda as well, though. That is demoralizing the native population, which is us. Look, the fact of the matter is, up until about 1980, 80 to 90% of America was white.
Yeah.
Now it's around 50%.
It's like 62-ish.
And it is clear that there is psychological warfare going on against us. Against the white population, the white native population of the United States.
And now listen to what we're saying here. Now, a lot of people out there are like, well, these guys, they're white nationalists. We're just telling you the truth.
I'm not. I was in the Army. You ever been in the Army?
No, listen. I'm just telling you what the other side's going to say if they want.
I know. I don't care. I am immune to.
And I want to get it in context.
Okay.
We are talking about a real life situation that is taking place real time.
Yeah.
And what we're starting to see now is black fatigue or other racial fatigue, because especially white dudes are getting sick and tired of this bullshit. They are.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Look, I grew up in Detroit. Pop grew up in Detroit. We were around, Detroit's extremely multicultural, and it has been for as long as I can remember at any rate.
Same here.
We didn't have any problem with the other races when we were young. One of the things, though, is the different races and the different ethnic groups, they had territories, they had enclaves, they had places, and we respected each other's spaces. It wasn't segregation. It's normal for people to like their own kind.
Yep.
It's normal. But that was weaponized as well, and that's part of what we'll be getting here in the show. Let's get into a little more about how it was weaponized. This is that same clip, but somebody put it out again just 5 months ago.
Uh-huh.
If you doubt this, then you have not seen the compilation of identical Orwellian-sounding messages delivered by local news personalities from different news stations across the country. This happens over and over and over again. It's not this one video. If I really wanted to spend the time, we just needed an example of it. I could find dozens of these. All of the propaganda that's out there, one of the biggest ones recently was that stupid book written by the stupid girl from the Sonoma Valley whose parents are both teachers at elite academies about how terrible it is that she has confusion over her gender. It's just so tragic. And the book is a bad graphic novel, and it's crap.
You're talking
and everybody's like, it has to be in schools. It has to be in kindergartens. It has to be shown to kindergartners, blah, 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 blah. And the book, I've seen it, and I spoke on it at a county council. And I said, I went through the rubric for the academies that this girl's parents teach at, right? In 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, they're learning about linear graphing and Roman history and the Constitution and all of that stuff, right? What are your kids learning about? Lube.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm not kidding.
Or
I'm not even remotely kidding. They're learning about lube. Well, the kids of the elites are learning Roman history.
Well, Gendar is a science fiction character, of course.
Gendar, yeah.
Gendar, yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah.
So there you go.
Exactly. At any rate, I got really ticked off because it was so obviously propaganda, but they had a lawyer in the room who was from the appropriate community, and that person really pounded the propaganda, and they're taught to shame people into capitulating at like city councils and town councils and county councils.
That's starting not to work anymore, though.
It's starting not to work anymore, but it has worked long enough that it has caused a great deal of damage. One of the biggest things is none of our kids know how to think anymore. They do not know how to think. They only think what they are told.
Yep.
They cannot reason.
And the thing is when you dumb down the population, you take away their ability to think independently. They are prime examples to get snatched up and turned into sheeple.
They want you to be just smart enough to push buttons at the factory without getting your hand hacked off, vote the way that you're told, have one or two kids so that you can create the next generation of robots for them, and then die quietly in your little apartment and then a nursing home where you'll be beaten to death by third worlders.
Great. Can't
I
wait.
mean, that's what happened during the lockdowns. That's literally what happened during the lockdowns in a lot of cases. This is a prime example right here. Let me share this tab and cause this guy to go this way and come back over here and do this. Is a prime example of what happens to people when they get enough brainwashing.
So this is the guy who took my whiteboard thing.
Face second-class citizenship, disenfranchisement, barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, and barriers to housing. Then we had the 1964 Civil Rights Act and the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which stated we could no longer do any of this. We could no longer discriminate based on race. So in 2023, what is the only group of people that we can legally discriminate against? We can legally relegate to second-class citizenship, create barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, barriers to housing. If you answered convicted felon, you are absolutely correct. In 2023, a convicted felon is the only group of people that we can legally do all this to. Now, do you believe it's a coincidence that 1 in 3 black males carry this label as convicted felon as a...
See where this is going?
Stop it right there. Okay. Now, first of all, all right. They have expanded federal crimes to the point of lunacy.
Yes.
They can literally kick your door down, go into anyone's house, and find enough infractions to throw you in prison for 3 to 7 years.
Yes.
A dick pill, marijuana cigarette. You know, you could have a plant that was gifted to you and it's on endangered species list. I mean, there's so many laws, you can't even navigate them all.
Yes.
Now, when you deal with the black community, they make up 14% of the gross population.
13%.
All right. And then you split that in half, because women usually, I shouldn't say usually, it's
approximately 5% of population is the number that you're looking for.
Yeah, it's 5 to 5.5% of the black population is responsible for over half of the violent crimes
in the country.
In the country, yep.
Not just in their community, overall.
In fact, the Caucasians commit so few of these crimes that they actually have to fold in the Hispanics into the Caucasian statistics.
Yes.
When the Hispanics and Caucasians should be separated.
Yeah. In Detroit, they also include the Arab population as white.
Yeah.
Those statistics.
Yeah. I mean, come on. That is insane. We need to break it down. And then people will see exactly what's going on.
That's part of the propaganda. It's part of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
How the media propagandizes you into believing these things. Now, this clown, he thinks that he's got it all figured out. And as he talks, you can see just how brainwashed by the system he is. But who's brainwashed her? Do you think? That guy or this person?
Which one? That guy.
Terrible news for transgender people in the United States. Under the cover of darkness, the House GOP late last night banned Medicaid funding for transgender care for all ages. Yes, that includes transgender adults. A previous version of the bill banned Medicaid funds for trans youth care, but then a last-second change was made to the bill to appeal to hardline conservatives, striking the words "for minors." Now that care could be banned for all ages for those who rely on Medicaid funding to access it.
I'm not paying for you to saw off body parts and pretend you're a girl. No. Correct. Pay for your own freaking surgery, you freak.
And a lot of these other Medicare cuts that they're bitching about are Medicare for illegal aliens.
Many of them are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
There
now, first
were
of all,
reports as soon as Trump got into office, there were people all over. I'm on a couple different social media sites, including one of the shadier ones, just because the characters on there are funny as hell. But a couple of them are late night medical staff at hospitals and stuff. And they said that as soon as Trump got into office and ICE started to gear up to round people up, the hospitals and the emergency rooms emptied out.
Yeah.
There was nobody there. Because all of the illegals were using those facilities as their for anything, for a cold, a sniffle, a paper cut, because they were getting Medicare to pay for it. And that's how they were getting their medical care. So all of this stuff is just so absolutely absurd and screwy. And it's just completely unbelievable. But here's the thing. You see, this has been going on for a long time. Now, this video is kind of lengthy, but we'll watch a couple of minutes of it.
This is an older one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is from the 80s. And mind you, this is CIA guys talking about what's going on like 40 years ago.
Frank, I think a good many of us have the impression that the CIA operates completely undercover, that you're all spooks, as they say, or they used to say out in the Pacific. Do you have a high profile, or do people know what you do for a living?
Surely. In Saigon, I had various covers. I was a State Department officer. I was a military officer at one time. But everybody I dealt with, agents, journalists, knew that I worked for the CIA. It is the agent who works under very deep cover, under unofficial cover, as a businessman, as a journalist. Now, he's the one who is not identifiable and whom nobody else would identify with the agency.
What years were you there?
I got there in 1969, just as Vietnamization was getting underway, and I left with the last CIA contingent on the American Embassy when the North Vietnamese were moving on the city in 1975. I was there through the latter stages of the war.
Did you go out on that helicopter in the famous pictures we saw?
Well, the CIA helicopter was the one that forms that famous photograph, but I wasn't on that one.
No. You briefed the press, did you not, when you were there?
Well, I had several jobs. One of my jobs was that of analyst. I also was an interrogator and indeed briefed the press when we, the CIA, wanted to circulate disinformation on a particular issue. Disinformation is not necessarily a lie. It may be a half-truth. And we would pick out a journalist. I would go do the briefing and hope that he would put the information in print.
There's how it's done.
They're
Pop
literally
and I have both seen that in action.
Yes.
Yep. And it is on a much greater scale than some guy who happened to be in Hanoi that day. And now it's being done here in the United States to us by our own government.
Well, it's happening en masse.
Well, we just saw that the beginning, those videos that I played. What he was just talking about that he was doing in Saigon in 1969, that's being run on us now. And it's a program called Mockingbird. And a lot of people know about Mockingbird. Well, it's still going, and it's here on our soil, and they're still doing it. And you got people out there going, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist." I did the goddamn job. SIGINT we monitored that shit. We had cells that monitored that activity so we could see what the reactions were.
But once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I challenge everyone watching this show to watch a little bit of mainstream media and tell me that there isn't something going on in the background. You can't see it.
How you do it. Find the same topic on every major news network and line their reporting up. Watch 5 or 6 different major networks on the same topic. and watch how their stories line up. Even Fox has taken the mask off now. Fox even reports in line.
Yep.
And everybody said Fox News was the good guys. No, they were never the fucking good guys. Okay,
They're
I'm
controlled
sorry.
opposition. That's what it's called.
They're controlled opposition is exactly correct. So let's move on to this guy here, who is a guy named Doug Valentine, and he's talking about the CIA activity that was in the Ukraine. Now, the important part about these videos, this was Vietnam. Now, this guy is Ukraine. What I want you to listen to here, this is from the perspective of a SIGINT guy. Okay, these are 40 years apart. Listen to the similarities.
After World War II, communism became the bugaboo, and the Soviet Union became the enemy. And even though, and one of the things the CIA did right after World War II was hire a lot of Nazis. Guys who'd been Nazis were now recycled and brought into the CIA. The Nazi rocket scientist von Braun went to work for the United
They were
States,
just scientists,
developing intercontinental ballistic missiles. So the Nazi past was forgiven, and Nazis went to work for the United States, including a guy named Reinhard Gehlen, who'd been the Nazi military intelligence officer in charge of operations against the Soviets in Eastern Europe.
Somebody had to do it.
And this guy Gehlen became the head of the CIA's main intelligence operator into East Berlin and areas like the Ukraine, where the Nazis had intelligence agents during World War II. And this guy Reinhard Gehlen, on behalf of his new CIA masters, just activated all the agent nets that he had during World War II. The same thing was going on in Ukraine, although the Ukraine had very much large swaths of its population were fascists and were actively involved against the war against the Soviets, and were enemies of the United States in World War II. After World War II, became assets of the CIA. So the CIA has been developing fascist assets in the Ukraine for 70 years.
Wow.
And every year since 1948, when the CIA went into operation, it has had a station in the Ukraine with a CIA officer who's running operations. And those operations have all been directed against first the Soviet Union, and after the collapse of the Soviet Union, against Russia. There's a lot of momentum that has built up over 75 years. Vast agent nets have been put in place. Sleeper agents have been in place for decades, and they're all working against Russia, which is why nowadays it's so hard for the mainstream media and the government to shift and even consider for a moment having good relations with Russia. NATO, its whole mandate and its whole reason for its existence has been to threaten and roll back Russia and eventually sabotage and subvert it and put it out of business.
We need to get rid of NATO.
Well, we definitely need to get rid of NATO. What this guy is not saying, and again, I know this because I've seen this before, with particularly with the sleeper agents. Okay, when I was in South Korea, we actually had a couple of sleeper agent incidents. There were a bunch caught at a university. There were a couple that tried to infiltrate. One of them hid out in a barn, and this was 2000, I think. And the farmer noticed him, and the agent said, "If you talk, I'll kill you," not realizing that everybody in South Korea had cell phones by that time. The farmer walked out of the barn like, and turned around and pulled his cell phone out and said, "Hey, we got this guy here." And they went and picked him up. The best one, though, by far, was a sleeper agent who rolled up to MND, the Ministry of National Defense in South Korea, and walked in and said, "Hi, I'm a North Korean agent." They're like, "Wait, what?" And they called us in, and they called their guys in, and we sat down with this guy. He was infiltrated as a sleeper agent in the late 1970s. This guy is 2000. The guy's like 60 or so. And he had this successful noodle shop that was his cover front. And he's like, I like noodles. I don't want to be a spy anymore, so I'll tell you everything if you let me keep my noodle shop.
Yeah.
And that actually happened.
So he defected.
He defected to keep his noodle shop, and that I know of. The noodle shop is still going.
Oh, good for him.
But what this guy's talking about with the propaganda and the media and everything, this isn't a new thing. This has been going on forever. Mockingbird's been going on since the 1950s.
Well, here's the thing, though, is now we're going to have all of this ramped up on steroids with the amount of surveillance and AI that's coming on board now.
That's exactly what's happening.
It's going to get
That's exactly what's
insane.
happening. And you heard this guy say, well, we couldn't stop it now because, we got all these assets in place. And yes, you can. What you're not saying is we don't want to stop because we have our own agenda. The CIA is basically its own critter. And Washington, D.C., and I know people go, that's a conspiracy theory.
No, it's not.
It's not. Listen to me. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Washington, D.C. has, since the 1950s, become a hostile foreign state, an enemy of the actual United States since the 1950s. It acts as its own country and does whatever it wants and uses the United States for a means to assist. The soldiers don't come from Washington, D.C. Did you ever meet anybody in the Army who was from Washington, D.C.?
Maybe one or two people.
Right.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of a coinky-dink. Because I met a lot of motherfuckers. You were in for 33 years, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I was in for 11. I think I met one officer.
It's like two guys.
Right. Exactly. And it is, I'm sorry, I firmly believe, this is my opinion, I will phrase it as such. Washington, D.C. is a hostile foreign power operating within the borders of the United States of America.
Uh-huh.
And we have a lot of evidence of it, including this CIA dude here who says, we can't stop what we're doing because Nazis. Dude, you're the CIA. You're way worse than the Nazis ever were.
Now, let's just be honest. During the Cold War,
yeah.
If I was running the show
mm-hmm.
and I had a chance to reactivate a bunch of spies that were hostile to the U.S.
Well, yeah,
I would have done it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a standard tactic. It happens all the time.
Yeah,
Anytime you've got a rollover like that after a war, when one country takes over another or knocks another country down, if you can get a hold of their spy networks, hell yeah, you're going to do that.
It's a huge head start.
It's a huge head start. It was done here in the colonies when we were first forming as a nation way back in like 1773. Yeah. That kind of stuff was going. There was a whole TV series about it.
Turn. I love that
Turn.
show. Yeah.
That's the one. Yep. Exactly. Now here's John Stockwell. This is a former CIA agent.
Let's talk about the function of the CIA. I think a lot of us have an impression that all the CIA does is gather intelligence. Intelligence is information, of course. Now, one would think that if you obtained information, it was based upon fact. And if that is so, what did you do with it?
Well, one of the four principal functions of the CIA is to gather intelligence and ideally forward it to the president, the users of information, the policymakers, as they say. There are other functions, however, some of them more legitimate than others. One is to run secret wars, the covert action that's written and talked about so much, like what's happening in Nicaragua today from Honduras. Another thing is to disseminate propaganda to influence people's minds. And this is a major function of the CIA. And unfortunately, of course, it overlaps into the gathering of information. You have contact with a journalist, you will give him true stories, you'll get information from him, you'll also give him false stories.
Did you buy his confidence with true stories?
You buy his confidence and set him up. We've seen this happen recently with Jack Anderson, for example, who has his intelligence sources, and he has also admitted that he's been set up by them. Every fifth story just simply being false. You also work on their human vulnerabilities to recruit them in a classic sense, to make them your agent so that you can control what they do. So you don't have to set them up sort of, by putting one over on them. So you can.
Yep.
BLM riots, anyone?
Yeah.
Are you guys hearing this? Are you hearing what these people are saying? It is everything that's going on in the United States today.
Well, first of all, there's nothing new under the sun.
No.
So these are tested tactics
Yes.
that worked in the past because we're still the same evil hairless monkeys. And
That
these
is correct.
tactics will work today.
Yep.
And
that is correct.
we're seeing it in real time.
This one is a tweet. It says, "This is what mind control looks like. Operation Mockingbird never ended. The CIA controls the MSM. The conspiracy theorists were right again." Let's give this a roll.
Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about troubling, irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become.
Now that's
There
a
you
clip
go.
of the thing we watched the first time around, but now that
know,
we've talked about it for a second, you can hear it.
But here's the thing.
Mhm.
They were not planning on independent creators like you and I, Steve, and all of these other small creators to cover the stories that the mainstream media is glossing over, ignoring. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. It's incredible that once you see it, like Pop said a couple of minutes ago, once you see what's going on, you can't unsee it. And I think Pop's right. I think you're right, man, in that when the internet started to do what it does and go rogue and it turned into the Wild West, they couldn't get control of it. The CIA couldn't get control of any of it. The best they could do is try to shut channels down, ban people, demonetize people, and screw people over as much as they can, and occasionally throw somebody in jail in a really public and obvious way, or kick a door in and kill a guy like they did. I think it was the guy in Ohio.
Well,
no, you know what I'm talking about?
Well,
He was like a 50-year-old guy. He was like fat and out of shape, and they kicked his door in and shot him.
What were you talking about? The guy by the ATF?
That's one of them. Yeah.
No, well, people get whacked all the time, and it's covered up.
A lot of those, though, I think when they publicize it in that manner, like they did with Waco, the guy with David Koresh would jog regularly and would eat at a restaurant in town regularly.
And
they
get
could have
haircuts
easily
at the same place.
Yep.
And here's another thing that most people don't know is David Koresh would call his barber 2 or 3 days in advance and set up appointments to get his hair cut.
Yes.
There was no fucking reason they had to burn that compound down and kill 130 plus individuals.
Yep.
All they really had to do was he could have walked out, done his jogging. They roll up behind him, hit him with a sack of nickels, cuff him, stuff him. It's done.
Yeah. It was a statement being made. Ruby Ridge, that guy they had him isolated on a mountaintop. You just wait for him to come down the road. The only way down was the one damn road. And they went up there, and then the FBI sniper, sorry, pal, I don't consider you even a human being for what you did, shot a mother holding a baby.
And his son.
The sniper didn't do that one.
I know, but
that was another agent that shot the son, but they killed his son as well. They killed his son. They killed a dog. But the FBI shooter, look, if you're a trained, wait a minute, we have a trained sniper here.
Yeah.
Let's ask him. Can we ask him?
Sure.
If you're a trained sniper and you've got the right equipment and you've got a bead on this house, are you paying attention to collateral? Are you paying attention to what's behind your target? Are you paying attention to the fact that silhouette doesn't quite look like a man because it's wearing a dress and holding a baby?
First of all, whenever you observe stuff like that, it's under magnification. You could easily tell.
Yeah.
But there's different rules for war zone snipers and law enforcement snipers.
Mm-hmm.
So law enforcement snipers have to pay a lot more attention to that stuff.
Sure.
In a war zone, not so much. You got a weapon, you're getting popped. I mean, that's just the way.
What about if you're holding a baby and the shooter is a civilian?
You are a non-combatant.
Law enforcement. Yeah.
You are a non-combatant.
Yeah. There is no way, in my opinion, that shooter at Ruby Ridge didn't know he was shooting a woman with a baby.
And what year did that happen? Did it happen in 94?
93, 94, somewhere in there. But yeah, those things are examples of the government using terror to control the population. Because that story came out that Randy Weaver was this big, huge white power dude. And what he did is say, no, I'm not selling a sawed-off shotgun to a guy so that you can FedNap him.
Yeah.
I don't want to play your reindeer games. Yeah, I went to a white power meeting. So what? It's called freedom of speech. If we were just there talking about stuff, that's not a crime.
Yep.
So they made an example of him and turned it into this huge. They tried to turn it into this huge white power story, and it failed when the freaking FBI guy shot the woman holding a baby. The Lavoy Finicum thing, where he was like a 67-year-old rancher. They ambushed him on a road. He got out of a vehicle with his hands up, stepped 10 feet away from the car, and they gunned him down.
Yep.
And he was in freaking hip deep snow. And they just gunned him down. And if you watch the videotape, it's a classic, it's a rabbit ambush where you attack the side of the column so that you can get the lead vehicle that has the guy that you want to run. And then you pick him off further up the road so you don't have to deal with all of his buddies behind him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
it was a textbook ambush.
It absolutely was.
But
that happens all the time too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's part and parcel of the propaganda. The way that it relates to the media thing that we're showing you here is they create these situations. They create this violence, and then they feed the story to the media, just like you heard the guy talking about just now.
But listen, if we had 1 million subscribers or more, they would come after us in some fashion, because
that's why we can't get any subscribers, is my guess.
Well,
part of the reason, because we tell the truth about things.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Speaking of telling the truth, why don't you give a little spiel?
All right, everybody. We've been demonetized here at Redonkulas.com beyond all rhyme and reason. If you watch a lot of our catalog, you will see that they run the same amount of commercials on all of the videos, even the ones that are demonetized. In fact, most of our videos are demonetized, and they still run the same amount of commercials on them, and we don't see a dime. We used to pull down between $5,000 and $8,000 a month on this channel, and we're lucky to pull down anywhere between $800 and $1,400. When we do a video, it's only really shared with I believe 1/3 of 1% of our total subscriber count, and YouTube takes 150 to 250 subscribers a day. And we have not been able to get over 135,000 since roughly 2018-ish, 17, 18. So any little bit that you send us goes a long way to keep this show moving forward. So please, super chat. We have Stripe, which is really good. Cash App, we get almost 99% of that money goes to us from Cash App. And if you use Stripe, 97% of it goes to us. If you super chat on YouTube, they take 30%, which I think is a little over the top. And Rumble's pretty good about it. I think they take anywhere between 8 and 15%. So again, any little bit you send keeps this thing going. We have a lot more people to help and save, and we just can't seem to get out there into the mainstream. The best way to do that is to like all of the shows that you come across, subscribe to the channel, and share these videos with your friends. All right, there you go.
There you have it. Good timing. That was perfectly cut because I was pulling something up for us to watch next. Look, the war on Ukraine thing that the guy was talking about, that's a lot more complex than people realize, but it is also a big tell. And this happens in pretty much every war, and it's how you get a population whipped up. Both World Wars I and World War II, the population of the United States, to the tune of some 97%, was not interested in going to the war. It wasn't our war.
Well,
there was nothing.
World War I, we were very adamant about not getting involved.
Yes. Yep.
And I would
I
say
can do a whole show just on that.
Well, and I would say that the anti-war stances prior to World War I, before we got into World War I, were astronomical.
Yeah. Yep. The whole premise of our country, if you go back and read the founding documents and what the founders wrote about that sort of thing, they knew that foreign entanglements were not something that you wanted to get involved in. They really were adamant about don't get involved in other countries' wars. It never ends well. We had just fought a war to establish our country, and that's an expensive prospect. There's a whole lot of details that go into that kind of thing. But in the case of Ukraine, you've got the media did it. You could watch the media again with the Mockingbird routine. Ukraine friend, Russia bad. Ukraine friend, Russia bad. And they hammered it to the point where people who couldn't even point to Ukraine on a map, had no idea where Ukraine was, were flying Ukrainian flags. And there are people who still do it. I see that and I'm like, name one city in Ukraine. Name a city in Ukraine.
Kyiv.
I mean, we can, sure. But if you walk up to somebody at a local grocery store, name a city in Ukraine, they're not going to be able to do it. It's the same with the tariffs thing that's going on with Trump right now. Okay, look, if you think that tariffs are bad, tell me why. What's a tariff to start with? Don't answer that. I know you know. Shut up. Quit being a dick. I know you know that shit. That's our whole purpose for being here, is knowing shit. You walk up to the average person, they have no idea what a tariff is, or how they're applied, or what they affect. Or that other countries tariff the living shit out of us. Yeah, I see you in the chat there, you smart ass. Odessa. Okay. Pripyat. These guys are looking at a map of Ukraine right now going, we'll show that little fucker. Here's some Ukrainian cities, you fat fucking dwarf. That's good stuff. Bring it.
Everyone gets fucked with.
You know what? You know what the funny part is? The funny part there is, for me, I want you guys to do that stuff because guess what? You're accidentally learning things.
Yes.
You're accidentally learning, and that's what I want. I want you to learn shit. I want you to know things. I want you to know things. You want to know who doesn't know anything? System surfers.
Oh yeah, you're gonna pull that out now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pulling them. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Now, this next video, I made this in the first 2 years we have done this. And I was getting so pissed off at the whole Section 8 bullshit and the welfare stuff, is I actually went and I averaged out, I researched virtually every state and found out how much they were getting in WIC welfare, Section 8, what have you. And a lot of these women were making it a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Dropping a child every other year and living a lifestyle of an upper middle class individual.
Yeah. And here's where this ties into the media propaganda. You're not allowed to criticize this. If you do, you're racist. You're not allowed to say anything about this. If you do, you're misogynist. You're not allowed to criticize any of this. It's just, you know, they have to have the government pay for everything. Well, it's just another form of slavery because you're not making your money. You're tied to them. They own you. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything without them.
Yep.
You're putting yourself in slavery by falling into this trap. Now, let's watch System Surfers because actually,
I want to give a shout out to my kids' real daddies. Thank you, government, for putting me on. I mean, you was the definition of a real father. Because when your kids is hungry, they have food stamps. Yeah, we shop at Walmart. Yeah, we shop at Publix. We shop at Winn-Dixie. When your kids need shelter, yes, you have housing. And you also have Section 8 for a lot of us. And when our kids fall, get hurt, or sick, they
Wait. I have to pause it right there. She's talking about housing. I worked in personal injury. A lot of our clientele was from the lower west side of Detroit, where most of the lower west side of Detroit looks like this here.
Yes.
And I would do their financials as the paralegal who prepares all of the paperwork and the briefs and the rebuttals and all of that stuff for the court cases. And they have to give me their financial details. Not some. The majority of them were living in $2,000 to $3,000 a month apartments and paying $58 a month.
Yep.
And welfare picks up the rest. $58 a month to live in a $2,000 or $3,000 3-bedroom apartment that you probably can't afford. The normal person today probably can't afford. Can't come anywhere near that.
They have Medicaid. Yes, we go to the ER, we go to the walk-in clinic, and we also can make a doctor's appointment. I get their prescriptions with no hesitation. Now, that's not the definition of a real father, making sure your kids have food, shelter, and health care. I don't know what it is. So like I said, thank you, government, for being my kid's daddy, and thank you for putting me on.
It's been a while. Bad Pop here. We're going back to math class.
Here we go. Pop's chucking the math. Hang on, kids. We're getting like a twofer here. You've got Pop in the room watching Pop tell you how it is.
Don't worry if you didn't do well in school. I'm not giving out any grades. But get your notepad and be ready to be pissed off.
Yeah, you're going to be
really pissed off. Yeah. Let me ask you people. Are you mad? Well, you're going to be. This one is for all those welfare queens out there, and you know who you are. Grab your board and let's ride this in. System surfers. Yeah. No, I'm not rewarding slewers. I'm sorry. Now, this was brought to my attention by a female soldier I served with a while back, who raised 2 children without using the system, and she is very upset that women abuse this. And there's no laws to stop them. Because this is bullshit. With that being said, let us begin. Smashing the fourth wall. This is going to be good. I wore the red shirt for this because I'm an a-hole. Please feel free to check the numbers for yourself. We got welfare, we got WIC, we got Section 8. They get Medicare, Medicaid, or now it's Obamacare, whatever it is.
Thanks, Obama.
They get energy subsidies, daycare, and education in various forms, either through state law or federal law. I can't even say yeah to that. I can't.
Hey, Pop.
Yeah.
I think it's time for an update of this video now that you've got the whiteboards up again.
Yeah.
And furthermore, these programs are almost all exclusive to females or the holders of the slot C. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the first letter of an acronym of Can't Understand Normal Thinking. These benefits have a dollar amount attached to them. And from what I've been able to find out, Idaho is being the lowest with only $11,150. In Hawaii, it is $60,590. Google it yourself. 20 years in the service, and these seed pump meat bags get to make more money than me for just pumping out kids. This whole system is in place because there is no accountability. There are no checks and balances in place. Get out of here. It is run by women for women. And if you get caught abusing this system, there's absolutely no punishment for this whatsoever on the books.
Yep.
And it's not like they have to pay the money back. It's a free ride. So far, what I've been able to detect through my research and FOIA requests, there is 151 different laws on the books that specifically benefit women. Someone's bitching about being oppressed? Wait, that would be the bitches. And I have yet to find one. 0 for dudes. Now, I've talked to some people and they're like,
well, men don't need any help.
Well, neither should the women, because feminism is 1 and it's 50-50 and you're just as good as I am. You smell that? It smells like some bullshit. This whole thing is pretty busy, but it's really not that complicated. And what this is mathematical breakdown of the dollar amounts the holder of the uterus gets for simply having kids. Kiss my ass. And in New York, the benefit package that these women receive, they'd have to work a $21 an hour job to basically equal that. Driving through New York, there's not a lot of jobs there anymore that offer $21 an hour because of their liberal, crazy tax laws. That's a different subject. As you can see here, I have age, births, income. I have the benefit package they're allowed to receive within the state of New York. On top of all this, they get child support. All right, so I'm going to dissect this spreadsheet, which you can find on redonkulas.com in the description. By law, they're allowed to make roughly...
Wait. Is the spreadsheet still there?
I believe it is.
Okay.
$26,000, and they still would qualify for all of this, valued right around $38,000. Now, if you'll see here, I know federal law basically mandates welfare end at 5 years. But state law, New York State has the safety net laws, which will continue on for additional 2, possibly 3. And then we go down here to the Section 8, housing, and other benefits that they get. I start this off at age 20. This can actually kick off at like 18, but maybe they want to party for a couple of years, get smoked and poked. Gonorrhea! No. But they can start off having the kids, and they space them out evenly. So that means they're guaranteed child support till roughly right around 60. If you're on the system and you're getting public aid, you should stop having kids because you can't afford the ones you got. Stupid. And there should be laws on the books that state, have kids while you're on public aid, you'll no longer be on public aid. I use $1,200 for child support because for whatever reason, blue-collar dudes who make between $40,000 and $80,000 a year wind up paying this. If he wasn't slapping you around or beating a kid or doing like horrible things and you just wanted to leave, it's my personal opinion that you shouldn't get child support. If you don't like it, you can suck my dick. Edit that out. But once you get to 31, what's 32? They'll work their job, whatever they're doing, making right around $25,000 a year. And I've talked to several business owners that have had employees come in and say,
hey, I don't want to go over too many hours because I don't want it to mess with my benefit package.
You must die. People will say,
well, you know, if they're getting their $14,000, and then there's some checks and balances in here, and it will be caught.
Listen, the system is run by women for women. It's radically understaffed. And a lot of times they'll get this put in place before they get the child support and they don't report it.
Now, one of the things that I had to do when I worked both at a corporate law firm and the personal injury law firms was go into the federal building in Detroit. And all of the employees there are angry black females. All of them. I mean, all of them.
Well, first of all, I mean, that's pretty much the norm.
Blow it out your ass. And even if they do get caught, there's no punishment. There are some reported cases of women hiding the bodies of children that they neglected. How do we know that all these children even exist? Say they start off at 20 and this goes all the way to their 60. If she's working, making them $25K a year, doing whatever, working part-time, hey, it's all her money because, you know, she's almost paying virtually no taxes on this because of the child income credit. Oh, poor me, I'm a single mother. But I'm a single mother by choice. I want some sympathy. No. She's walking out the door with $1 million in her pocket, receiving $848,000 in federal aid, state aid, and on the side, as a bonus, getting another $500,000 in child support. So she's not being taxed, but yet we're shelling out almost $1 million for the aid of this craziness going on here. Yeah, no. This is too brutal to even say anything about. Then when she drops off the system at 60, she falls right into Social Security, which, by the way, she worked all these years to pay for and took all of these benefits on top of that. Are you mad? Are you mad? The average dude makes $1.2 million, and he's busting his hump. This woman, working part-time, spreading her legs, makes 2 times as much as you and gets full medical, dental, daycare, food, her shelter paid for. And what do you get? You're getting bent over for some surprise butt sex. Not even a reach around. Now, how long do you think that's going to last before we run out of money? Why are we not talking about this? And we're talking about abortion and religion and other things that have already been ruled on by the Supreme Court. Guess what? Discussion is over on those. Is there anything else? Oh my God. Are you mad? Are we all mad here? Because I'm a little pissed. I personally think, that you should get your 5 years. And that is it. Okay, if you can't get your life put back together in 5 years, guess what? There needs to be some accountability. I think there needs to be some starvation and some ass kicking going on. Because guess what? If there's no negative repercussions, why change your behavior? Yeah, it's all fun and games until he tools you up a few times. So I'm expecting a lot of yeahs from the dudes and a lot of no's from the system surfers out there. But please, send your email to my ass.
Okay, that's the end of the content portion of this content.
Yeah. But when you look at the board, though, they get like they have probably multiple baby daddies. They're pulling in, $500,000 in child support over a 40-year period, and then they make $1 million working part time, and then we're paying almost $1 million just to keep them in the lap of luxury.
Yeah, and we pay another $1 million to keep the button pushing monkey on staff.
Correct.
It's happening. Fortunately, we can pay those in like Miller Lights.
So let us know in the comments if you like the old whiteboard stuff. Because
I can tell you right now, I read the comments on those all day long, Bob. That's why I keep goading you to make more of the damn things.
I usually do 2 or 3 a month. I started that like 4 months ago.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because the comments are always, I wish Pop made more of these. I wish Pop made more of these. I'm serious. I saw a guy in the chat say, I'm rewinding for a second to the screen print of that image. I have a whole B-roll list of all of Pop's best remarks, noises, and weird incidents that I'm going to turn into a short. I need to do that.
New merch idea.
But here's the thing, is these women that are on welfare are having these kids. A lot of them are going to wind up in prison anyway, so it's not like a net benefit to the society that they're having these kids.
Correct.
All right. They're working part-time, so they don't mess with their benefits. They get to keep all that money. Then they get their benefits, and then they get child support on top of that, which basically back in the day, and I think it just changed, but they would take the child support out of my check after I paid taxes on that money and then hand it over to the ex. So that's like free money for her. If you cannot look at that spreadsheet and not come to the conclusion of just epic fucking abuse, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Now, one of the other things that I saw when I worked at the personal injury firm is something that we haven't mentioned before. I would have remembered it, but I just learned about it in the last year and a half or so. When these fornication trophies turn 18, they pretty much automatically go on EBT themselves, and very few of them leave home for at least the first 7 or 8 years. So they've got welfare coming in. Mama's got welfare coming in. She's going to squeeze out one more. Now that household's raking in close to $85,000 a year for nothing.
And that's why you see all of these people drive around in Cadillacs.
Yes,
BMW.
that's exactly it. That's exactly why. Yep. And they got 70-inch widescreens and actual gold chains, and yeah, it's really frustrating. Here's where this ties into the whole Mockingbird CIA propaganda thing. Those people are told that those benefits belong to them, and the rest of the population is told that if we say anything about it, we're racists.
Yes.
It is a propaganda campaign, and it is designed. Now, remember, you're only talking about 7% of the population. The rest of the population has to suck up that cost and deal with the product of it, because a lot of those fornication trophies, like we said earlier, become dangerous.
Well, hang on. Now, let's just be honest here.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Meth
a
and dicks,
lot
what?
of white single mothers, especially when I was in New York State in red trash land, who
Yeah.
abuse the fuck out of that system as well.
No, that's fine, but that number still doesn't come anywhere near this. This is a population that relies on this as their form of income.
Yeah.
For the most part, the other than that group of people segment of the population does not rely on that as their source of income. Does it exist? Of course it does. But as a whole, white females don't rely on that.
Oh, they're starting to
welfare
now.
thing.
I mean, the listen.
You
that
know
whole
why? Do you know why, Pop? Do you know why? Do you know? I know why.
propaganda.
Do you know what? No. Do you know why?
Why?
Men aren't marrying them anymore.
Good.
So they don't get the divorce trophy. So they have to go to
Don't get
welfare.
half your shit, half of AYS.
So they're forced to go the darker path.
I guess
it just get dark in here.
But the whole thing is this. All right. We as a nation are the richest, most prosperous nation that has ever existed before we started writing shit down. All right. In fact, we are so, or at least we used to be so rich, everyone wanted to come here. Right?
Yes.
And the standard of living here is, beyond anything that's ever existed. These welfare queens, I mean, they have BMWs, large screen TVs. They have the latest phones, computers, laptops, what have you. Whereas a working Joe doesn't have all that stuff because he's got to pay for it out of his own pocket. It is being abused. They are siphoning money out of our system, our tax dollars, hand over fist, and they've been getting away with it for decades. I would say that this whole welfare Section 8 thing really got going mid to late 70s as soon as no-fault divorce became the norm across the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It would be nice to have the GOP grow some fucking spines and actually implement all of the shit that Doge has been doing. But I think Doge could take a look into the welfare stuff, and I'm pretty sure they have.
Jimmy, Jimmy, you need to get over that idea because we both know that the GOP and the Democrats are both one sides of the same bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What was I thinking? Oh wait, did you say bullshit or Bolshevik there?
Both sides of the same Bolshevik? Did I say that?
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
Start drinking.
I didn't get enough of those in during the CIA segment. I mean, that was ripe. They were all over the Bolsheviks.
There's two.
There's two.
But no, actually, going back to the whiteboard idea, I got a new idea for merch. We have cartoon pop with whiteboards behind it, and it says whiteboard time or make whiteboards great again.
Oh, dude, we could do some good. Oh, yeah, we need like an anime cartoon pop. We need an anime pop in the red shirt.
The bad pop.
I know all I have to do is say that it's going to turn up. Somebody's going to grab a screen cap of one of those and feed it through one of those AI things that turns you into an anime.
Yep.
I know that's about to happen now.
If someone can do that, get on it, email it to us. We'll make a merch. I'll send the idea to Blake.
There you go. We'll give you credit. We'll even send you the first shirt.
Hell yeah.
I'll do that. If we pull that off and it turns into a sweet shirt, I'll gleefully buy you that first shirt. There's a bounty out.
Yep.
Somebody thinks that I need an online tally for the number of times that I say Bolshevik during an episode.
Drink.
Hey, slid that one right into you. That's what she said. No homo.
But the thing is this propaganda, like, one, I want to know who is directing all of this propaganda, why they're doing it, and where the money's coming from.
It's a demoralization, man. I'm telling you right now, it's a demoralization. What's happening is this is being used as a form of weaponized demoralization because everybody sees it's going on. Everybody knows that they're seeing this stuff going around. These people from these neighborhoods that they know are poor and all on welfare driving around in Escalades. That drives by you, and you're working two jobs trying to feed your 3 kids and driving a freaking 10-year-old Honda.
Yeah.
It's demoralizing. It is a psychological weapon. This is psychological warfare. And the thing is, once they get what they want, once the deep state, once the Bolsheviks get what they want, these useful idiots are going bye-bye. They just don't know it yet, because useful idiots always get flushed down the shitter in the end. They always end up at the end of at the side of a trench going, but I was on your side is very nice. Bang.
That's right.
No faces you want.
Or they work them to death in a concentration camp.
Yep. Every single time the useful idiots end up in a camp or in a trench. There are no exceptions. Every time you go back and look at histories like this, they end up in a trench. Now, this one is interesting because she didn't just come up with this, okay? I can tell you right now, just by looking at her and listening to her voice and reading some of the comments around it, she didn't figure out to lie. She was coached.
Maybe when people be like, girl, how you get food stamps? I wish I get food stamps. Bitch, you better start lying. Bitch, that lady called me and said, ma'am, I said, yes, ma'am. She gonna say, what's your address? I said, ma'am, I don't have no address. I've been homeless
That's coached.
for 4 or 5 months. I have nothing. My family won't let me stay with them, ma'am. I'm starving. While I'm kicked back in a motherfucking 3-bedroom and everything, living lovely. Then she gonna say, ma'am, what's your job title? I say, ma'am, they won't hire me anywhere. I don't have no job. I've been putting application after application. It's just like nothing work. Yeah, that lady was on the phone. She said, ma'am, I'm so sorry for all of this that you're going through. She said, would you ship your card out? You should have about $1,000 on your card from last month and this month, and your balance and your payment every month is gonna be $300. And bitch, I was like, thank you so much, ma'am. Like, you just don't understand how hungry I've been.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, look at her. Tell me she's hungry again.
Yeah.
Tell me she's hungry again. Now tell me another lie.
That is one gravitationally challenged woman. I'm just saying.
That's coach. Now here's another one who is clearly starving to death. And she also is coached. You can tell that this is fed to her as well.
I'm fucking pissed the fuck off. They cut my motherfucking food stamps to $85 fucking dollars from $738. How the fuck that's supposed to support a household of 3? For a job that barely even support my basic needs now. Like, inflation is high and the bitch groceries is high as shit. Oh, I'm pissed the fuck off. Like, I'm mad as shit because how the fuck am I supposed to survive off that shit? So when y'all see me in the motherfucking store stealing stuff and that shit in my motherfucking bag, nicely act like you don't see shit and mind your motherfucking business, because this shit is going in my motherfucking bag and I'm walking out this motherfucking store with my motherfucking chest up and my head held high, and I dare you to try to tell me, hey ma'am, excuse me, because I'm gonna look at you like you fucking retarded and say go talk to Trump about that shit.
Now there's the stealing thing. We've been seeing all the stores looted over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Yep.
That's been ingrained into them as well. And this is coached behavior because, again, Pop and I, we both grew up in Detroit. And even then, you didn't steal from the fucking store. I mean, like a pack of gum or some peanut or some M&Ms or something. When we were kids, because you're 11, 12-year-old kid, you're an obnoxious little son of a bitch, and you haven't been beaten enough yet. But this chronic stealing through entitlement culture, this is coming from somewhere too. Somebody is telling them that this is okay to do.
And also, hang on. They lowered the limit. Yeah. You can charge them for a felony, or they raised the limit like $900
in California. But I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that they are actually going to get rid of that. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's the gives me because I deserves it culture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And let's see here.
I don't get it.
Here's a guy that's actually fed up. Let's have a look at this guy because. Thank you, Jimmy. I was about to reach over there and do that.
I got a news flash for many of y'all who are crying about possible cuts to some to making reformations and cuts to food stamps. I want to remind y'all that it is not the job of the government to pay for you and your 7 kids.
See?
It is not the job of Uncle Sam. It's not the job of the Trump administration. It is not the job of this government to pay for the fact that you make your bad decisions that caused you to have 7 kids that you know you didn't have the money to take care of with no baby daddy for them. There's a girl going viral, literally, because she said that the government takes care of me and my kids. I don't need a man to take care of me and my 7 kids because the government does.
Yeah, we
I
played her
get
right away.
700, I get the food stamps and stuff, take care of my kids. Maybe if people were cut off food stamps, some of these people would cut off some food stamps, then maybe they would actually go get a job and stop having all these children that they can't take care of. That's how it used to be back in the day. Before all these programs came along, they didn't have kids that they couldn't have a father to take care of them.
Yep.
And I actually have a one big update. Nebraska was the very first state to remove soda pop, candy, junk food, and all of the unnecessary stuff from the SNAP program.
Good.
So it's a step in the right direction.
Did you say snack or snap?
Snap.
Okay.
Snack, snap, same thing.
Same thing.
When SNAP first started, you could only buy certain things. Yeah. I remember that. I had a friend who really was in the shit and got in a bad way, and her husband got in a car accident or something like that, was all fucked up while she was pregnant, and it just put them in a position where they didn't have a choice. And she didn't have a car, so I would take her to the grocery store, and she used SNAP, and she could only buy things like fresh vegetables and milk and, actual food. SNAP, when it first started, had the right idea.
Well, my mother was on welfare for like 3 years when I was a kid, and there were certain aisles we could only shop in.
My daughter and I were on welfare for about 10 months in 2011 because I just got ass raped repeatedly and we didn't have a choice. It's humiliating, first of all. It's being a grown-ass man having to apply for food stamps is humiliating. But yeah. Yep. You couldn't buy certain things. But here, let's do one last one here. I actually haven't listened to this one yet, but the headline was interesting. It's Medicaid and food stamps programs House Republicans want to cut have huge economic returns.
The GOP tax bill includes cuts to the 2 largest programs that help low-income Americans, Medicaid and food stamps. We don't need food stamps because we feel sorry for poor, hungry kids. We need it because the economy is better when we have fewer poor, hungry kids. Now, last century, many economists would have told you that federal programs to help low-income people were fundamentally inefficient, like a costly version of charity. The reason for that was that one of the largest such programs at the time was aid to families with dependent children, which you probably know as welfare. It sent cash support to low-income families, but primarily single mother families. It was horribly designed. The program reduced benefits dollar for dollar with any earned income. It was a massive work disincentive. Not to mention, welfare was hated, and the people on it were too. America invented a whole mythology around the welfare queen, and in 1996, the program was ended. But it taught us a lot. Policymakers learned, 1, how to design programs to minimize work disincentives, and 2, that work status was a bad proxy for need. 1 in 4 Americans are in the low-wage labor market. It has terrible pay, high turnover, irregular hours, and little workplace protections. Lots of people who work are still in need because their jobs are so bad. Researchers learned a lot too. They reframed social programs as economic investment rather than assistance. They showed it for food stamps, for Medicaid, for the child tax credit, paid family leave, sick days, childcare. These investments have incredible returns, primarily through better test scores, better health, more workers, and higher earnings. You're not helping poor people. You're buying better economic outcomes. They've even shown how effective these programs are as a macroeconomic stabilization during recessions, which is why the tax bill, with its cruel and severe cuts to Medicaid and food stamps, is so economically backward. It looks as poorly designed as welfare was in the 1960s.
All right, so hang on.
That's another propaganda piece.
Yeah, another propaganda piece, and she literally wants to go back to just giving people money, number one, and this, a work disincentive. There's people have been on welfare for 15 plus years. They've turned it into a lifestyle.
Yes. Yep, and like I said, they do it generationally. As soon as one of those kids turns 18, they go on EBT and they won't leave the house, and they'll keep feeding that money into the house as it goes along to keep their income level steady. They know what they're doing. They're not idiots. They're clever, and they know how to game the system.
Yeah, the free shit, so you quit.
Yep, and that is all part and parcel of the whole way our media and our government has been manipulating us through psychological warfare. It's demoralizing for a large segment of the population, and it creates an entitlement sense in a small part of the population, which allows them to become hyper violent, like we've seen in the mostly peaceful demonstrations where cities burned. So,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's we barely grazed the surface on this whole thing tonight. There's a whole bunch of different aspects to it, but I wanted to show the relation between the Mockingbird media thing and the welfare state, because they're essentially they're spawned from the same creature.
And you have to ask yourself a question. Did they actually create this massive welfare system to increase the number of useful idiots?
It's to bankrupt the system.
Well, one, you get the useful idiots and you bankrupt the system.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about the bankrupting. Mm-hmm. So it's a two-tier strategy.
Yes, the standard, and here we go again, the standard Bolshevik tactic is to break the system, cause it to collapse, and then when it collapses, you're there with the solution, which is always socialism, which never works.
Well, or communism.
Well, socialism is the gateway drug to communism.
It's the lobby to communism.
It really is the lobby.
Yeah.
It is. You're absolutely correct. And do we have anybody waiting in the lobby, Jimmy? Because I'm looking at the clock there thinking.
We have super chats?
Yeah. Is it super chat time? I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep, we got a couple over there, but I got Billy Von Baum on the horn here, but we'll see what happens. So we'll go to super chats here real quick.
Oh, don't care what you gotta say. Whatever it is, it's probably lame. If you want some advice and need some help, oh, how about you go F yourself? Oh, no, sir, oh, F yourself.
I love the saxophone bit. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me show the first one that Billy sent me. I need to share my screen.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, it's nothing bad.
Heard that line before.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me get it prepared here.
Jimmy's putting on his helmet
and
safety shoes.
Yep. And these I think these could be also added to the merchandise store for stickers here.
Hang on, you gotta remove that.
There we go. Okay, no.
Now we
now
good?
go ahead. Do it again, Jimmy.
All right, hang on. Fucking StreamYards. StreamYards, you be completely unfucked.
Unfuck yourself.
Sure that. There we go.
See what to find out. Here comes the anime shit.
Yeah. And then we got this one. And then we got this one.
Oh no!
We can add those for some stickers. That'd be funny.
Oh my god, that's good stuff.
Not bad.
Not bad. All right. Jump over here to the U-boob side. Let's see. Hey, look at that. I don't even have to ask. The chat got over 320 likes. Well, 319 likes with 458.
Okay.
Looks like the only super chat over on the U-boob side just comes from the Plains Warrior with $2. Says humiliation and embarrassment is not a thing anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah, people are literally over it. They're done with all of that.
Yep.
Especially
Rumble,
with me leading the charge.
Yeah.
Because I am not playing the.
I don't care anymore.
I don't care anymore. I'm not playing the blame and shame game. Fuck off.
Yep. We are effed up and PO'd. We are fed up and pissed off.
I'm going to early Army rules of racist remarks where if you didn't call somebody in your platoon something racist, something was wrong and you didn't like that guy. I don't know how many times I got called a fucking Mick. Well, I was it was in the old Army. Insulting each other was like if you insulted somebody, it meant you liked him and or trusted him.
Well, everyone rips on each other in the Army. It's not a big deal.
Right. If the guys, you could tell the guys that nobody liked because nobody insulted them or gave them a nickname.
Or talk to them.
Even. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Looks like we might be having some problems over on the Rumble side. Sean St. George just sent me a text saying we're getting some buffering and all that. Well, guys, hit the refresh button. Not sure what the problem would be, but try hitting the refresh if you guys are having issues over there.
I'm sorry. We have no control over Rumble and their shenanigans.
Hopefully nothing too crazy is going on over there. But speaking of Rumble, we'll jump over there. Oh, I got to check the numbers real quick because I got a feeling a Hillary is involved.
Come on, guys. Get the likes up.
538. 142 likes.
Actually,
I see 153. I see 153.
That's still low.
It's still low.
Yeah.
Light
Come on, Rumble.
Let's get at least 250. Yeah. Come on.
We do have 3 downvotes. Hey, you downvoters out there, please chime in or send us an email. We'd love to know why you're downvoting us. Send the hate mail. We love it.
I love the hate mail. I love it. It is hilarious.
Every once in a while, we'll do it. If your hate mail gets featured, maybe we'll send you a sticker.
Nope. I do got to have a correction there. It was on the YouTube side. So that does not surprise me because YouTube, even on my side, likes to freeze up and I have to hit the refresh button. So it doesn't fucking surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is asshole.
Asshole.
Let's see. First one here on the Rumble side from Flash Gator 01. That's a new name. Haven't heard. He's got a couple in a row here. The first one says, "Good evening, you riggers. Hope all is good. Hey. I miss Mr. Crayon, so please give me a Dave's Naturally Grown Crayons."
Aw, Dave's a good guy.
I can do that.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Dave, and I want to talk to you about something real special. My naturally grown crayons. Yep, you heard that right, folks. Crayons grown right here in the good old earth. I know what you're thinking. Dave, how do crayons grow? Well, let me tell you. It's all natural, all organic. No chemicals, no artificial colors, just good old dirt, sunshine, and love. Here's where the magic happens. We harvest them with care, sort them by color. Ain't no rush here, no sir. And then we clean them up, polish them till they shine, ready for you to use them or, eat them. Now that's a crayon. You can feel the earth in every bite. There's just something about a crayon that's grown right, Tastes like childhood. Now, we did try to make a mascot for the crayons, but, well, let's just say old Cranky, the crayon, didn't quite turn out the way we planned. So, whether you're coloring, crafting, or just having a snack, Dave's Naturally Grown Crayons are the real deal. Once you try them, you'll know what I mean. You'll be wondering how you ever lived without them. Try them today and taste the difference.
That's one of the better ones. It's so wholesome.
I know. I love it.
There you go. And Flash Gator coming back says, question for Pop and anyone who may know, but does the 75th Ranger Regiment have a civil affairs component?
No. They use 96.
Yeah. They have attachments, but there's no civil affairs.
Uh-huh.
I think they do have 3 or 4 guys that are civil affairs qualified in the support battalion. but they
we
coordinate with
trained
other-
some of their guys in LOVI too. We
Well, the thing
trained
is-
some regiment guys with the PRDs.
the support battalion coordinates all of that shit with any support that they need, and they bring it in. It's usually on a mission or deployment basis.
On a task force. Yeah, I went on one of those. Yep. We called ourselves we were the snap-on parts.
Correct.
Yeah.
Snap on or strap on?
No. The Marines were the strap-on for the Navy. You know why the Navy keeps Marines on their ships, right? Sheep are too obvious. Carry on.
Well, you know what Marine stands for, right? My ass rides in Navy equipment.
Yeah.
You're going to get in a bar fight, dude. Do not tell that joke in San Diego.
I don't. You won't see my ass in California anytime soon. So I think
That's
I'm
fine.
good.
That's fine.
But speaking of support, I did get a text message from Blake earlier. It looks like the for the supporters, the movie night will be moved to June 8th.
Okay.
He was going to let you know, Pop. So supporters, no movie this weekend, but the weekend after. So just to let that everybody know, sign up to be a supporter. Give Send Go, or not give Send Bro, locals, subscribe star, jump on over. Let's see, jumping back to the chats here. We got Mando. He's making the summoning. Bolshevik.
No.
You know what to do.
Bolsheviks.
No, don't say it.
Bolsheviks.
No, please stop.
Bolsheviks.
It's showtime. Bolsheviks, baby. Everyone drink.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it.
I like how he made me an old man and I have to like dodder out of the hole. You know, I don't like jump out like Beetlejuice. I have to like kind of hang on a minute. I got this.
Well, we are old now. So.
Fuck off.
Truth.
I know. Fuck off anyway, though.
He looks like Flash Gator's got a couple more in a row. He says, time for what in the fuck is that? Oh. Was it just as beautiful as the last one?
We didn't have a what the fuck is that this one. This is Tuesday.
This is Tuesday.
What the fuck
That's
is that?
Thursday.
We have it on Thursdays.
That's Thursday. Let's see. Flash Gator coming in and says, if you don't like the stream, that means you love Hillary and you're gay. You that or you like Big Mike?
Bro, no, thank you.
Either that or you like the French dude's wife.
Oh, no.
I like the slap. I did like the slap.
Yeah.
The slap was
I don't care about those surrender monkeys. Let's see. Mando coming in and says, guys, I know most of us like dogs more than cats, but let's be honest, most dogs are retarded.
Most dogs are retarded, but I love dogs anyway. I'm a dogs guy. I just always have been.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Not a cat dude. I don't like cats. Hate them.
Yep. Let's see. Net guy coming in and says, Battle Dwarf, letting people touch your nuts. Homo suspicion point.
It's metaphorical. It's metaphorical. Nobody's doing any nut touching here.
I was going to say, I don't know the context. Otherwise, I would give you a point for that.
I forget what it was. Pop and I were having a discussion. I told him to touch my nuts. No homo.
No homo. As long as you say it's no homo points. Let's see. Sigma MGTOW 4 here with $10 says, Mr. Pop, I encourage you to download the Exodus wallet and post your XRP receive address for donations.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yep. Let's see. Flash Gator, have we done a They Live movie stream? Yes, we have. Got to be a supporter to watch it, though.
That's right.
Like I mentioned, Subscribe Star, Locals, Give Sembro, Odyssey, even Rumble. Become a member, become a supporter on there. You get an email every Sunday night, one-on-one with the Popster there. Sometimes I'll jump in there as we're having some technical difficulties. And every other Sunday, movie nights.
Yeah.
Great times.
All right.
And Flash Gator's got a couple more in a row here. Says, Evil Pop and Angry German Dwarf are out of their restraints.
Well, Irish.
What are you going to do?
I have no German in me at all.
I do.
Would you like to?
What? No. Wait, my wife's part German.
Okay.
There you go. And Flash Gator again says, Papa Dwarf, when someone touches children, Palpatine, I can feel your anger. It keeps you.
Oh, yeah.
Makes you stronger.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
I
of
had
that
friends
at all.
several times tell me that you should come become a cop. They were cops or firefighters or whatever. I'm like, I can't. There are certain things I wouldn't be able to see. And I had it tested one time, and I don't care to discuss it, but no.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I am unable to retain a professional aspect, if you will.
Understood.
There you go. Let's see. Amanda Dwarf, the team is, quote, own group preference. We're all guilty, especially you and Nance. Perhaps Jimmy can show a clip to prove it.
I hate you. I hate you.
It's terrible.
I'll be back. I'm going to go throw up. I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll be here. Mando coming in says, Pop Dwarf, which is worse, rock salt from a shotgun to the chest or lemon-infused paper cut on the taint?
Hey, what are you doing? Why are you paper cutting somebody's taint to begin with?
Rock salt. No.
I got shot in the ass with rock salt from a reasonable distance when I was younger. We were cow tipping one morning and got caught.
Yeah, I was hanging out in the cemetery by Berkeley with Mike Ream, and he got shot like pretty much.
Oh yeah, the groundskeeper. Yeah, the groundskeeper had a rock salt shot. I remember that.
Caught it in the arm. I was standing next to, and I'm telling you that shit hurt.
Yeah, we were on the way to school when I lived in Shelby. There was a dairy farm, and it was foggy in the morning, and we thought it'd be funny to sneak into the field and tip a cow or two, not knowing that the farmers are up way before dawn to begin with. And we caught some rock salt, at least from a reasonable distance. It didn't rip any clothing, but it sure did. You felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mando finishes off his comment. He wants the captain to sing. Your wish is my command.
We did have a request for singing pop. You guys are jackasses. Always want to watch the same shit over and over again. Pick new videos.
Look at me, I wanna be the captain of the sea.
About time.
The poop deck ain't for me. I'd rather steer us to debauchery.
Careful what you ask for, video guy. Careful what you ask for.
Nice.
The murder deer horns are funny every time, though.
I know I hate them, but it is what it is. Murder horse. That's what it is.
Yeah, murder horse. Yeah.
Yep. And Cliff3188, someone jumping in says, watch James Spader's speech in the first episode of The Blacklist. It's eerily similar to what this guy says about who's running things.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably taken from some of those videos. When they did The Blacklist, the first couple of episodes were actually pretty well written.
Actually, I watched a lot of The Blacklist, and I enjoyed almost all of the episodes.
It got lame toward the end, but there was some really good stuff in there. There was some stuff that was fairly realistic.
Yep.
There you go. And Alucard coming in. Don't worry, it's not one of his disgusting gross outs. He just wants box wine and Catland.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no swear. Stop!
All right.
And for those that don't know, in that last image, there are actually two shaven pussies in that clip.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe.
It's like the 53-year-old who was wondering why she couldn't find a man on the Thursday's show. Sorry.
Speaking of which, did you both get the Thursday op order?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, sure did. I'll take a look at it tomorrow. And Mando jumping in back, he says, Dwarf, how many mentally defective defectors have there been?
Oh, heck.
Mentally defective? Gosh. I don't recall any that were actually mentally defective. North Korea had a real habit of basically killing people who were mentally defective.
Yeah.
But we had people who were fucked up in ways that you don't even want to begin to think about. We interviewed some of the escapees from some of the camps. And yeah, that was ugly. I could do a show on that one time too.
Yep.
I've got the report on that.
And Mando is also asking to see you and your girlfriend, but we already saw you and your girlfriend. So how about you and your side piece?
Now that's good and tasty.
What's with the headphones and the shirtless glitter jacket? What the hell's going on there?
That's awesome.
That's horrible.
That ain't no chocolate chip either. That's a whole chocolate chunk.
Fucking elephant droppings.
Disgusting. And Amanda coming back says, honestly, there is domestic agency that is far worse than the Yahtzees or the CIA. It's called the IRS.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, the IRS doesn't really put you in a concentration camp. They'll charge you and you can get sent to prison. But yeah.
Yep. They'll send Joe Schmo to prison for not paying $2,500 in taxes, but they'll turn a blind eye to the rich guy that can afford the lawyers that says, oh, no, you don't owe us anything.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on here. We got 68 Barracuda says, perhaps we need more Russian dads who are here to make his best friend, who YouTube deleted words, his daughter, and made him dig his own grave. Long box wine and Catland. Well, we already did box wine and Catland, but you know what? We'll give you a thank you.
Thanks for your continued support.
What the fuck? The hell?
Let's see. And that guy, 1975, coming in and says, howdy to the 2 down voters. Throw in a super chat and give Pop your opinion.
Yeah. I was serious. If you're out there downvoting us, bring it on, baby. Like we're gonna be. In case you haven't noticed, we like it.
Yep, we're a little bit of masochist when it comes to the hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And 68 Barracuda coming in and says, one of two, says, Battle Hobbit. I strongly recommend these books by Peter Zehan. He was a regular lecturer by his own admission at Langley. And those books are Accidental Superpower, Absent Superpowered, Disunited Nations, and The End of the World is Just Beginning.
Well, it's not like this hasn't happened before.
That's true.
So we'll see.
Okay, I found him already. I'll take a look.
Yep, there you go. And 68 Barracuda, monthly supporter, winning.
Thank you.
Whee! Thank you.
On it. Hope you like the Sunday supporter streams and the movie nights.
Yeah.
Oh, you will also be given exclusive first access to the new Redonkulas videos that come out. And, well, let's just say there's some tidbits in there that, well, you'll like.
Oh, boy.
If you know. You know.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
And 68 Barracuda coming in again says, I also recommended Prisoners of Geography by Tim Marshall and The Revenge of Geography by Robert Kaplan.
Okay.
There you go. And Mando coming back says, it's Popception. Yep, that's about the time I jumped in. I was like, oh, shit. Pop watching Pop? This is fucking awesome.
That's a fourth wall break.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. International House of Whoop Ass coming in and says, first, that Unga Bunga is doing cultural appropriation with the blonde wig.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, Trump's bill just cut that all for them. Also, Dwarf, what happened to your channel? No updates in a while.
I have been one busy MFer and haven't had a chance to put anything up. It's been 3.5 months, I think, since I've had a chance to put anything up. Going on 4 months.
Yeah. He's been a busy little battle dwarf.
You got to do what you got to do, brother. I got you.
Yep. Let's see. Tomahawk here with $10 says, when I was younger, back in the 90s, I worked in a grocery store for several years. I can tell you how many single black mothers I saw with at least half a dozen kids.
Yeah. True story.
Yeah.
What's the line from Don't Be Medicine South Central? Kids, now what do we say to mommy's new friends? Are you my daddy?
Dude, that's just messed
Yeah.
up, man.
That's harsh. Reality's a bitch, though.
It is.
Yep. So was karma.
Yeah.
Let's see. N2 Gas coming in says, are there any examples of T people successfully collecting welfare as a woman, or are there fruity friends who identify as a 5-year-old pose as her children?
I don't know about the specifics, but I do know that if men apply for those benefits, they get all kinds of red tape.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm pretty sure if they take another P nice up the business lips, I'm pretty sure they get written in there pretty quick.
I'm not willing to test that theory, but I can attest. I can attest to the red tape, and they give you as little as they can too.
Yes.
Yep. Let's see. Rule Man Life with $5 says Woodrow Wilson ran on an isolation, not my monkey, not my circus war stance since the election in 1916. He got reelected president. That all changed when German Navy resumed unrestricted attacks.
Nope. I responded to that. That is not what happened. There's a book called Conquest Through Immigration, which details exactly what did happen during World War I and how America got sucked into the whole mess. Conquest Through Immigration, George Robnett, 1968. It's long and convoluted. We don't have time for it here, but it was not about the vessels that Germany was sinking. And by the way, Germany and England were at war. We were sending England supplies via shipping lanes. Of course, Germany's going to attack them. I would have.
Yeah. Well,
it's called war. I mean, you don't like it. Okay, great. But that's what war is.
Yep.
Carry on.
Shit sucks. And let's see. Berserker Brad, 1983. He's dropping $40 here. So you know what? We're going to give him a dwarf thanks for that one.
Thanks for your support.
What the ass?
That's a good one.
What just happened there?
You're drinking.
Yeah,
I guess I am.
Berserker Brad says women ruin their life with both sets of lips, in my honest opinion. The most unattractive part of a woman is her brain. The brain runs the mouth and makes the decision to destroy her family.
I've seen it happen.
Yep. Let's see. And Rumble's giving me the double dipping of super chats there. See, we got International House of Whoop Ass says Pop and Dwarf are Bill and Ted and Jimmy is Station.
What?
What?
That's kind of disjointed. I don't
see. I've seen. It's been a while since I've seen Bill and Ted.
Huh. Okay.
I'll have to rewatch that one. Might have to add that one to the movie list.
You'll have to ask Socrates.
There you go. And 68 Barracuda says the only way to win this in this psychological warfare is stoicism. Read Epictetus. Marcus Aurelius is a pussy.
I am a big fan of stoicism.
Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius wasn't so much of a pussy as he was milquetoast. Cicero is another good one to read. For lots of fun, read Julius Caesar as well. Epictetus is a very good one, though.
There you go. And Western Citizen coming in says, convert Section 8 to feral cat housing. Each apartment could fit 100 homeless kitties. EBT benefits for one human could feed 20 cats.
There's also there's already a lot of feral kitty in EBT housing.
Yes.
Yep. And when those people have a heart attack and aren't found for weeks, well, animals got to eat.
Well, cats will eat you like one day out, where dogs will wait at least a week.
Yep. And Western Citizen again says modern hood rats and black culture. White people reward for abolishing slavery.
No, slavery was on its way out anyway. It's inefficient. The Industrial Revolution was happening. The Civil War was not fought over slavery. That's a load of bullshit. The Industrial Revolution made the slaves into antique farm equipment. Sorry.
Fair enough.
It's reality.
Nope. Drive on.
There is no war over slavery in the United States. Carry on.
Tomahawk with $5 says, I find it hilarious. The only certain shades of cosmetics are locked up in the big chain stores.
Now that's actually true. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yes.
I wonder why they don't lock up the sunscreen too.
That's cold. Dude. That's cold.
Savage.
That's the International House Whoop Ass coming in. Says Snap WIC welfare is single-handedly keeping about a third of drug dealers in business. They either let the dealers use the card in exchange for drugs, or they use cash. Take it out.
That is also true. We had a client go to prison right in the middle of a case due to something exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's see. And two guests here says Cloudward and Piven penned an essay in the 60s. The entire plan is to overload and bankrupt the system.
Exactly correct. That was part of an essay, but yes, that is exactly correct. This is not a super chat, but I'm going to read it anyway because it's just fucking good. Scepter 6 says, a man will sacrifice his happiness. Get your pen out, Pop. A man will sacrifice his happiness for his family. A woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness. Sun Tzu, probably.
No. That I've heard that one like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. Okay, but it's good. Anyway, carry on.
It is.
Yep. Let's see. And Professor Blake, he's asking for this Singing Blake. We already gave the Singing Blake, though. What haven't we played in a while here? Let me scroll up through my buttons. I'm going to go past the Hillarys. Don't worry, guys. But how about instead of Singing Blake, we get Dancing Blake?
Gayest cruise ever.
Gay cruise. What are you going to do?
Good shit, man. Just because he decided to not have his computer logged in at the time, the gay cruise will live on. Let's see. And Tantalum 180 says, send the hate mailers either a Pringles can or a box of tampons.
Here's the thing about the hate mail. I get hate mail, but not as much as I used to because I was doing videos on the hate mail because I find it rewarding.
It's funny as hell. They're good. Some of them are good.
A lot of them are the same thing. Like you hate your mother, you're gay, blah, who hurt you, like that doesn't work anymore. And it's boring.
Well, I think a lot of that was coming out of the university indoctrination, and that's what you were getting. And now that's become tired at the universities, and people aren't buying it as much anymore. So the brand has worn.
Yeah.
But if you're out there and you've got some good hate mail for us, please
send it.
We're hate mail friendly. We really are.
Yep. I mean, hell, one of the best videos that Redonkulas ever made. Challenge accepted.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That was your hate mail.
Yeah, I ripped that lady apart. I never heard from her again.
Of course not. Because you proved that 500 miles of Mr. Right was a reality, man.
No. I mathematically proved it is possible for a woman to get 500 miles of dick ran through her in her lifetime.
Yep, there you go. And Professor Blake coming in says, hey, tell Battledwarf the old folks home is calling for him because they found his girlfriend Nancy doing another guy. Well, it's okay. It's okay. He's got his side piece chocolate chunk.
That's what it is.
Wow.
Yep. Let's see. 68 Barracuda coming in says the Exodus wallet is fine. Get yourself a cold storage device. I use the Trezor. Move your crypto off exchanges.
All right.
There you go. And Alucard, the dogman called. She wants Pop to sing and wants some snoo. Be sure to bring a beer and a tent.
All right.
Disturbing.
It's yeah. I'm never going to get used to that one. Never.
Well, and another thing you're never going to get used to, Pop. Hang on, let me put your full screen.
God, no.
You know what's going to happen. Get ready for the screenshots, gentlemen. Because this one's disgusting. Of course, Alucard coming in. Hillary Schnott pocket laced with pus mixed with chewed vomit. Wet slimy goo, brownish green slime with chunky yeast infected period blood with zinc.
Oh my God, it's always a zinc.
Broth vag juiced with foul smelling pus and zinc spunk.
The spunk is in there. This is like a prostitute from hell.
The spunk is in my eye.
Oh God, that's disgusting.
I don't ever want to go through your mind for 2 seconds there, Alucard, because that is disgusting.
Ooh,
it's funny, but it is disgusting. Let's see. Tomahawk here. Prior to World War II, large sections of America still spoke German.
That's true, though.
Yeah.
There was a German Bund on the East Coast.
Yep. Basically, in my area of Nebraska, it was all German immigrants that
Wyoming as well.
Wyoming, yep. Midwest, yep. Let's see. Mando coming in says, you do a show for guys, yet you hate males. Pop and Hillary need to make out.
Oh, God, no.
Where's my button? Where's that? There's the special button.
So good and tasty.
It had to be
so cringe.
Hillary.
So cringe.
It's always the hillbilly Hillary.
Yeah.
Let's see. And jumping back to the YouTube side, we do got another one from Songbird21. Well, Songbird9 with $21. Sorry, dyslexic moment. So you know what? I got to give you a thank you for that one.
Thanks for getting me some beers. Delicious.
He says, do a poem, a warrior poet.
All right. We the willing, led by the unknown, have done the impossible for the ungrateful. And we've done so much for so long with so little. We're now qualified to do anything with absolutely nothing at all. And that one came from Vietnam. I don't know who the writer was. I think writer unknown. But I mean, that's what we do here in Redonkulas. We're doing the impossible with like almost nothing.
True story.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, let's see. Alucard says, "Yep, you guys won't last 30 seconds in my brain pan." Yeah, I won't even knock on the door to your brain pan, there, good sir.
That's just nasty.
I would have to, put my waders on and trudge through the zinc and the spunk and the vaginal yeast infection stuff.
Oof. Stop. It's just nasty. Move along.
Moving on. Oh, Mando.
You should not have said that.
I shouldn't have said that.
Not you, Jimmy. Pop. Pop should have said move along because you move along to.
Oh, yeah. Mando says, Pop, not sorry. Zinc infused fecal matter sprayed all over the wall, over your favorite mead still, as you're tasting the purity.
Hey! You're messing with my mead now.
That is terrible.
Now you're treading into trouble there.
All right, so every time I hear these people read this stuff, right, I'm like remembering this girl I knew back in the day whose snot pocket was so stinky. She would walk into the room and I'd have to walk out. It was so bad.
I knew this one chick who had a sneaky snot pocket. How stinky was it?
Yeah, it was the kind where you go to the bathroom to dry heave. It was bad.
Wow.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And we'll jump over to the MGTOW side of things. We got Transformational Synergy with $15. Says, thanks once again, gentlemen. Bit of channel support attached. Thank you, good sir. And Crazy Uncle jumping in says, Papa Battle Dwarf, make this my sense. make this make sense. My town tried to vote on a budget of over 41 million total. After being voted down, they're claiming a new bare boner budget for the town around 20 million, with an exceptionally high aged population on fixed incomes. I also found out that the state tax and military rate is looking like it will go up to by 30% just this year. If this turns out to be true, eject, eject, eject.
It's insane. Where is this?
Yeah, that's bad. But the thing is there's a lot of cities that are going to have to reevaluate their budgets, especially now that we've had the Doge thing going on at the federal government. You're going to start seeing that happen at state and local governments to cut out.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
It's already happening.
Yep. Yeah, Mick Tyrone, he's got a couple in a row here. He says, hey guys, reporting in from California, Stan. Yes, Proposition 36 in the 2024 election. Voters approved Proposition 36, which allows prosecutors to charge individuals with felonies for theft under $950 if they have 2 prior theft convictions. But LA Mayor Karen Bass, along with the Bolsheviks, have tied the hands of the LAPD to effectively do their job, as well as voted out George Gascon for Nathan Homack as LA's DA in 2024.
Well, here's the thing. LA in California is losing businesses hand over fist.
Yeah.
And at some point, there's going to be a breaking point where people are like, you know what? I like having a grocery store. I like having gas stations. And some of these people are going to get jammed up bad.
Yep. And I know a guy, Big Angry Phil, good fucking dude, solid dude. He also is in the LA area. If you guys want to, go check him out on YouTube, Rumble. He wasn't going to do a show last week. He might be doing a show this week. I'll have to double check. Maybe he will. But yeah, go check him out. Tell him I sent you, and he'll inform you on the crazy bullshit going on in the LA area.
It was bad when I left there in 2008. It was already bad when I left in 2008. Now, this is to the police officers that are out there who may be listening or may not be listening. There comes a point where there's such a thing as an unlawful order. And there comes a point where you know that what you're being told to do is a crime. If you start arresting those individuals who are giving you the orders to commit crimes and carry out unlawful orders, guess what? The people they're gonna back you. The people will back you. I guarantee it. Mm-hmm. So strongly consider arresting people who commit crimes, no matter what chair they sit in.
Yeah, I actually in Iraq I had to countermand basically war crime orders twice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There you go. And Meg Tyrone's second one here says, hey guys, why do we call the French surrender monkeys? When the French were involved in the resistance during World War II, the French resistance, known as La Resistance, was a collective group that fought against Nazi occupied of France and the collaborationist Vichy government. Why
there was only a handful of them. Many of them were foreigners to begin with. I met one of the last Jedburghs. And that whole thing about the French had this huge uprising in France is a load of hooey.
Well,
sorry.
Here's another look. First of all, we were just making fun of the French.
Mm-hmm.
They did get their country shot out from underneath them during World War I, and they never ever recovered from that. So
nope.
When World War II kicked off, they were slow to react. They were tactically unsound.
They had the Maginot Line, which was this greatest strategic joke in all of history.
Yeah, and Germany went around it
through Belgium.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a long. France's greatest military commander was from Corsica. France's best military unit is Legion étrangère, which is the Foreign Legion. So, anyway.
It is what it is. But we're jumping back over here to the U-Boob side. We got a couple more here. Says Brian with an I with $5. Says, Pops, have you read Guns of the South? I always believed slavery was on the way out, even even if the Confederates won.
The Industrial Revolution had happened 5 years before the Civil War started.
I have not read that book.
Read it.
I believe the Civil War was kicking off over state rights.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The Civil War was not fully fought by slavery. It was mainly over states' rights.
Yeah, and Lincoln dragged in the slaves towards the end to help cripple the South.
Yes.
And don't forget, Abraham Lincoln, America's most popular president, suspended habeas corpus, and he arrested Maryland senators.
Yes.
That is in the history books. You can look that up.
There's a whole pile of stuff. There's a whole pile of stuff.
Yep. Let's see. And next one is from Songbird with $11.11. Says, Battle Dwarf, can you pray for me? I got a feeling your prayers are like super special or some shit. And you know I got a special prayer for you. Amen, peace, and prosperity.
Hoorah. Hoorah. I think he's a fellow dwarf and he wants you to pray to your dwarf god.
Oh, all right. I pray to Crom, but he does not listen.
I love that movie.
There you go. Let's see. Looks like got a couple more over on the the Rumble side. Alicard says, my brain pan is like a hellscape. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he says, except I'm banned from hell.
You don't want to walk around on the inside of our heads either, man.
No.
It's not a good place to
hang from hell.
Not fun. All right,
right.
let's see.
That's false. That is false. That is false. There are people who are so evil. My mother is one of them, that they get banned from hell and sent to New Jersey when they die.
Okay, fair enough.
That's like the 12th circle of hell.
It is, essentially.
Let's see. Jump over here to the over to the Odyssey side. We got Blankets. He's asking, Pop, how was your Memorial Day?
It was actually pretty good. I was up north hanging out with a buddy of mine. I drank too much tequila, so I was sick for a day from that.
Oh.
Everything else is golden.
We can't do that anymore, right?
No, I know. I learned my lesson.
Hopefully you didn't fuck the fight. Hopefully you didn't fuck the fat bitch and fight the cops.
No, it's put your dick in the fat chick and yell "fuck you" at the police. And that did not happen.
Same thing. Let's see. Blankets again says the stream is white flashing the entire thing. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's on Rumble's side. Uh-oh.
I'm not seeing anything like that.
Nope. Like I said, I just now jumped over there, but it looks like Steve, you might have to buy Blankets a shirt.
No.
I like it.
The
Done.
The whiteboard's
Email
even
us.
spelled in whiteboard's even
spelled bad.
It's gobbledygook. Yeah,
there's no
dyslexicist.
spelling.
It's
There you
spelled
go.
in
That's-
dyslexicist.
I like it.
There you go.
Thank you, Blankets.
Hey, that's good. I like that.
Let's see here. And Blankets again says, Jimmy, think you asked for an animated poop for the show. If you want more, you can make more for the show. Oh, animated pop. Sorry.
It's okay. People call me poop many times. Not a big deal.
That happened.
Sorry. I had my own
On
dyslexia.
the Rumble side too.
Let's see. Last one here from Blanket says, have you ever gotten any hate videos?
Oh.
We did have one.
No. I have this woman that used to follow my channel and then mock me on her own channel by playing parts of my videos.
Yeah. There was a guy too, though.
Oh, yeah. Kazumi,
yeah. He had it in for you, dude. That was great.
Yeah. And I literally made a video and, thanked him for everything. And, I love it when people criticize me, or
Bring it
especially
on,
if they have
man.
facts. I'm cool with it.
Bring it on. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Thanks, bro. All right. Let me see here.
Rumble.
Yep. Saw those. And two gas. Steve, is that robot hell in Atlantic City, New Jersey?
It might be.
Maybe. Let's see. And Tomahawk at Battle Dwarf. Do you know the riddle of steel?
Of course I do.
Hmm.
Of course
Steel is not strong. It's the hand that wields it.
That's right.
There you go. And Alucard. Oh, man. We're going to pair these two up. We got Alucard and 68 Barracuda. They're asking for Nancy and Dwarf and Bolshevikville.
You guys.
What's
wrong with you?
Head on out there. There it is.
In Bolsheviksville, where the sun shines bright, live Dwarf and Nance, what a charming sight. With Sandy the maid and Pop dropping by, and Hillary's antics that'll make you sigh. Oh, Dwarf and Nance, they've got it made, with laughter, love, and a living made. From morning toast to an evening dance, it's always a hoot with Dwarf and Nance.
The evening dance, me without a beard there looks eerily like a guy I served with that we called Jakey.
Hmm.
I'll have to send that to Jakey and see what he says.
That still is definitely one of my top favorite videos.
Yeah, that one's
it's just the theme song it's just catchy as fuck.
So wholesome.
So wholesome.
So wholesome. All right, let's see here. We'll jump over to the D Live side. Again, it doesn't give me the number of viewers over there because D Live is asshole again. But no lemons over there. Jumping over to the Itchy Twitchy. And we got our normal 8 viewers over there.
Yeah, we're going to have to find another channel to replace Twitch because we've been doing Twitch streaming there for like a couple of years. It never goes over 25.
Nice Crew Digital, I keep telling you.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that and Twitch bans people for calling people fat on stream for like 2 weeks, but then Hassan Piker gets a slap on the wrist and only gets banned for a day.
Yeah.
That's a different story. But over on the old Twatter sphere, we got 113 views.
Look at Twitter, it's picking up there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty
If
good.
you guys got a Twitter account, follow me, follow Pop, follow Battle Dwarf.
Yeah, I'm over there.
There we go. Let's see here.
Rumble did it again.
God damn it, you sneaky bastards. Always sneaky bastards here. We got Mando says, is it my imagination or does Hillary look like an HOA Karen in that vid?
Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly what she looks like.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Oh boy. I'm going to try to pronounce this one correct, but I'm not going to. Oh, excuse me. Alucard says, I'm a malfunctioning human / Kivawachian hybrid, and I'm hell-bent on causing chaos.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
I don't know what the Kivawachian is, but that's how I'm pronouncing it.
All right.
Let's see here. Jumping to the Cash App. Suze McCauley with $30 says, Jimmy, did you get a wiggle dance button yet? I didn't, but I will go into the emails and I will find that and I will download it and I will get it added to my button.
You could just send the email to Blake. He'll send it to you.
Yep, I will do that.
Alucard threw another 5 at us and says, Atomic Hillary.
Atomic Hillary. Is that the fat one that's dancing?
That's so horrible.
I hate that one.
That's disgusting.
I hate Hillbilly Hillary.
What the fuck is going on, Rumble? Jesus.
Let's see. Oh shit, we got our first and we're not worthy from Lewis. He's dropping $100 on us and he says,
Wow.
Cheers, gents. You know
Thank
what?
you so much, man.
We are not worthy. Thank you very much, there, good sir.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Nice. Thank you, man.
Let's see. Next Cash App here comes from Sean with $10. Says, thanks for all you do. Wish I could do more.
It's okay.
Appreciate it, though.
Yep. Keep watching
every bit really does help.
Listen,
keep watching the shows. Keep sharing the shows out.
Share. Listen, when we do a show, share it on all of your social media. Like it, subscribe. You know, I mean, that goes a long way too.
Yep. That's the best you can do because it'll help get the word out. We'll be getting more lives saved on that board. I'd like to see 600 by the end of the year.
Bubba sends us $1 and says, "Sir, we've been trying to reach you regarding your car's extended warranty." That's fantastic.
I think India's a little too busy to be doing those call centers, with their whole stuff with Pakistan. Remember that was going on?
That's a whole other story. That's
I know.
Whole other story.
Just giving you shit. Let's see. Next one here is $45 from Jose Jalapeno on a Steak. No, that is from Jose Torres. $45 for Keep Saving Lives.
Thank you.
Thanks, boss. Appreciate you.
Good sir. All right. Let me do a quick more jump through. And I know you sneaky bat. Oop. Did I see another one? Let's see. Dark Star Mobile for $2.99 Australian says, Pop, expat show when? Expat show when?
Expat show. I actually got to get some expats to be guests on the show, and then we could probably knock that out.
What about Dark Stork?
Dark Stork Mobile?
Dork Star? What?
Dark Star, Dork Star. I get it. Yeah, the expat thing is pretty big. But in my particular instance, I'm going to stay here in the United States and fight the bullshit as long as I can.
We had a guy from Cornwall on one night.
Yeah, well, we have viewers all over Europe and England, Australia.
Yeah, we had the one guy on that one night.
Yeah, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there you go.
We got another We're Not Worthy on YouTube.
Yep, over on YouTube, huh? Let me see here. Oh, we got Songbird 5553 says, Pop, USSID, you said you were a Freemason in your books. What are they about? Are you a psychic?
One, yes, I am a Mason. Two, all I can really say is they make bad men good and good men better. That's what they're designed to do. And
all the conspiracy shit is not accurate.
Am I a psychic? Not on command. It does run in my family, but the women in my family have it a lot more than I do or any of my other male
runs
relatives.
on my mother's side.
But after I got blown up in Iraq, it is ramped up quite a bit.
There you go. And you get one of these, good sir, for that one.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thank you so much, man.
Rumble did it again.
I know. I saw that Alucard. He says, Jimmy, can you tell your Night Terror demon who does he work for? Well, Dr. Evil, of course, because he is number 2.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it.
I'm gonna pick this one off just because I feel like it. JHCH01, lots of expat guys in lots of expat military in Seoul, a lot work for U.S. military industrial subsidies. Hey, no mano yo.
All right.
I know all that already. There's a lot of them over there. I was almost one of them until my divorce fucked me over. I was going to work for Northrop Grumman and work in Seoul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Blankets, he's got a couple more over on the Odyssey side. Says, Pop, have you tried pilled.net?
Pilled? No, I have not.
I'll have to take a look into that just to make sure. Good stuff. Let's see here. Let me do one more run through. Doesn't look like any more Cash Apps. No more Super Chats from the YouTube or the Rumble side. So no more, goddammit, you sneaky bastards. So I think we're ready for Pop's safety briefing.
All right, everybody, don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. It's not really going to work out for you. If you absolutely must fornicate, wear a condom, take it with you, or flush it down the toilet. Watch it go all the way down. Why? Because women are sneaky bitches, and child support does last 18 to 21 years, depending upon the state you are in. Rack up, pack up, and stack up. There's safety in numbers. That's why animals travel in herds. Maintain your situational awareness, because if you're going to be attacked, something in your environment will have changed. It's up to you to see it. And last but not least, I'm sick and tired of throwing you guys in the dirt because you're taking a permanent solution to temporary problems. All right, play the long game. You have no idea what the future holds for you, and your future could change on a dime. All right, next, stay in the fight. You can't win if you drop out of the fight. And last but not least, if all else fails, live at a motherfucking spite. And remember this, I'm the guy who's cheering for you for all your victories, and even the ones you can never tell anyone about. Boom, beer me.
There you go. Battle Dwarf, final words from you tonight on this wonderful Tuesday night.
Most of what you have been fed throughout your life is propaganda.
Bullshit.
Most of what you have seen on TV, the media, learned in school, etc., has been propaganda. It's been this way for 60 years or more at the intense level that it currently is. Mockingbird Project is real. Just pay attention, learn to see it, learn to look through it. Old books are your friends. That's where most of the truth is. And just don't be gullible. Don't fall for everything you see on TV. And if you see stuff that says that a certain thing is bad, like the Masons, for example, look further. Look further, because of a lot of it is insurgent propaganda. And what I mean by that is you'll get an organization that actually has good intent. People will infiltrate it and turn it to shit. Probably the biggest example of this is the Lavender Mafia in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. Look up the Lavender Mafia. But don't always believe what you see on the internet and that kind of thing. Go to libraries if you live near a big city and pull the books out. Read them.
Now, in my defense, I'm only a third degree Mason. I never had any motivation to go all the way to the top. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's an entire show by itself.
Yeah.
But anyway, everything you've been fed through an electronic form of media has an edge of propaganda to it. The only place you're going to find it is getting away from the mainstream sources.
Yep. One way we can fully combat that is hashtag remove the Smith-Mundt Act.
Yeah.
Because it is legal for politicians and journalists to put propaganda on the American people. Thanks, Obama. Of course, you guys all know my final spiel for the night. Redonkulas.com. Hit up the shop. Good ideas don't need censorship. It's always a good one. Get you a Battle Dwarf shirt. Come on, guys. If you buy the merch, post it on social media. Just you don't got to put your face in it. Just put it on there. Put in hashtag Redonkulas. Tag Pop in it. Tag Battle Dwarf. Tag me in it. We'll share it out. Everybody needs a Partying Guardian.
Oh yeah, Partying Guardians.
Everybody needs a Partying
Not available
Guardian.
for grenade duty.
Yep. We're all evil hairless monkeys. Got to get one of those. I got one of those. Get you an allegedly shirt. So every time you say something, you can just be like, allegedly. There you go. All kinds of good stuff on there. There are more things coming out in the woodworks. And like I said, we can probably make a Whiteboards Great Again shirt.
All right. We got one last cash app from Mark Von Mears. He sent $10. In the statement, he said, "My dad that passed away was also a Mason."
Yeah, there's a lot of propaganda around that stuff. You need to read a little bit more and find it in reliable sources that are not obscure web pages.
Yep. And my final thought for the night, of course, you don't wash your cootie juices in the dishes, because every time you do that, your shot glasses turn into squirt glasses. And to those that just want to keep pushing out the EBT, the welfare queens, and all this other stuff, well, I'm just going to let this gentleman finish my thought.
Fuck you and all your motherfucking friends, nigga. Give a fuck if y'all in kindergarten, I'll whoop y'all motherfucking ass. That's why Santa Claus ain't real, bitch. That's why I fucked your mama, bitch. I'll fuck up all your kids. I don't care, goddammit. Huh? Prove it to me. Prove it to me. That's why you ain't going to Disney World, bitch. Fuck you and your friends. Fuck all y'all, bitch.
Never gets old.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, gents, we will see you on Thursday. And, well, it's going to be a fun one. See you then.
Take it easy.
All right, guys.